All right, here's the drone video for a beautiful tract at Whitetail Ridge. This particular tract has direct county road frontage along its entire south side. It has that open meadow, transitions to timber, and actually on the northernmost end has a small creek bed that crosses over the property. And I think we'll see just about all of that in this drone video. So looking northerly, you can see the meadow, you can see the timber. Off to the left, that's the easement road. For the other tracts, many of the other tracts at Whitetail Ridge, very few have county road frontage. And that's just looking down the county road. You can see the neighbor on the other side, the farmer, looks like he just burned his fields pretty recently. A lot of farmers do that every spring. Instead of mowing the grass or whatnot, they'll burn it to get it ready for the new crop of hay or whatever it might be. Okay, I think we're just going to do a flyover here. This goes basically north or northeast. Beautiful open meadow on the south side. This is extremely level on the south side and stays fairly level once you get into the timber for a couple hundred feet. And then it starts to slope down as you go toward that creek bed. We didn't see anything on the topo map that would indicate, a bluff or a steep drop, but we'll take a look here at the drone video and see. It looks like once it starts to slope, it slopes down kind of a controlled, gradual slope down to that creek bed. You'll see some big timber on this. You can see that already. By the way, this is an early spring video, so very few leaves are on the trees. We love to take videos in the winter or in the early spring so you can actually see how the ground lays. Once these leaves are out, a couple weeks from when this video was taken, that's all you'll see is greenery, and it's beautiful, but you can't see the ground. So now the ground is still looking really level here as we slowly go northerly, and at some point now it's starting to slope down, it looks like. You can see that valley area, so that's going to be I guess toward the north or northwest side of the property. And this does have the little creek bed actually crossing over it. I believe we did a video where we walked down to the creek bed and took a short video just for fun. So you can check that out on the listing page as well. Quite sure this would be a seasonal creek or a wet weather creek. It had water in it when we were out there. But it also had rained a couple days before we were out there, so very few leaves on the trees. It's funny because when the trees don't have leaves, they look dead. And some people leave that comment on YouTube, like, why are the trees dead? But oftentimes someone comes to our defense and says, hey, it's the winter time, there are no leaves on the trees. There you can see the creek bed, it's got some water in it, so that's pretty cool. It's a gravel bottom and a rock bottom and a flat rock bottom and all of the above. It's a really interesting little creek bed on the property. So excellent access to this with the county road frontage. Having the meadow is fantastic. You've got multiple options for building sites or campsites. The meadow, of course, is a viable option. You've got to be at least 100 feet off the county road, but that meadow goes back like 300 feet, so you could certainly have that as an option. But if you wanted just a little more privacy, you could just go into that timber, 50 feet, 100 feet, whatever, and still have a large level area and have a much more private site for camping or hunting. The deer and turkey out here are phenomenal. Now we're still looking down on that creek bed. We may have meandered a little bit over the property, but maybe not. It's hard to tell when you're doing the drone video. Running just a little bit. These tracks out here were logged within the last couple of years, but really, in our opinion, they were not heavily logged at all. You can see in this recent winter or early spring drone video, you can't hide anything when there are no leaves on the trees, and that's why we like to do the drone videos at that time. And there's a lot of big timber on this property. So now we're going to spin around, we're going to fly back toward the county road and the meadow. I can see a couple redbud trees with the purple leaves. And I believe I saw some dogwood trees. They have the bright white flowers, and they're basically the first color that comes out in the springtime. So toward the upper right, there's a dogwood. Ooh, toward the left, there's a big dogwood. Okay, so now we're going to be looking southerly or slightly southwesterly. And we're going to do a flyover right back to where we started. After we back up a little bit, I guess. So looking down, you can get a pretty good look at the north part of the property. It'll be the lowest, obviously, in the creek bed. And now we're kind of looking at the whole deal. Back to the meadow, to the county road. This is an awesome area for deer and turkey hunting. This is western Laclede County, Missouri, so well known for good hunting. We see deer all the time. We've gotten several deer that showed up in the videos. We've heard turkey. The guys see turkey all the time. I tend to only hear them, and I don't see them as often. Very close to the Niagara River, very close to Bennett Springs State Park, which has an actual trout hatchery where they raise rainbow and brown trout, and they stock that particular section of the Niagara River. So one of the few spots in the Ozarks or anywhere where you can actually fish for rainbow trout and brown trout. Very, very cool. That's a pretty good look at the property. You can see the truck parked back up on the county road at the southern side. Looks like some kind of trail just randomly crossing over the property. If you're looking down in the trees there, that's just some old kind of trail or potentially a logging road from years ago. It's not an easement or anything. Quite level right there. And then back to the meadow area. The meadow is gorgeous. I mean, if you wanted a place to have a couple horses, to grow a garden or whatnot, or obviously for a building site or a campsite. Very beautiful. So yeah, if you haven't already checked out the other videos and the interactive map and all that good stuff, you can do that on the website. Interactive map is really cool because you can zoom in and out. You can change the base layers, so you can kind of get different looks at the property. You can zoom out as far as you want and see just right where this is in the state of Missouri. Great location, close to Springfield, which has a good airport and hospitals and colleges. Actually only about 12 or 15 miles out of Lebanon, Missouri, which is a good-sized regional town, but extremely private and only 3 miles from Bennett Springs State Park and closer to the Niagara River. So awesome property. Check out the website. If you have any questions, please let us know.